All right, we've got Cannon paired up with Carlos Correa here. Let's take a look at the full swings live, and then we'll break it down. Okay, used Carlos a couple times now with some analysis. He's a real good swing, one of the best in the game mechanically, so he's fun to work with. Let's get him back here, and then Carlos has already started his load, needless to say. So, but his stance isn't far off as far as whip is concerned from this. A little bit less than that. Cannon's obviously a little bit more narrow. Um, I try not to get too much into the stance side of things because I want everybody to do what they're comfortable with. But I kind of I like it to think about if you're a wrestling position or if you're guarding somebody in a basketball game. Get your feet and your overall body set up to where you're ready to guard somebody. Then put a bat in your hands and go ahead and raise it up. That to me is a more athletic position and a better starting point than something a little more narrow with knees kind of facing inward a little bit. I think he has that even though his toes kind of facing in a little bit, it looks to me like it's a slightly open stance. I don't recall if that's the norm, but we just want to make sure we're consistent with whatever we decide there and maybe get that a little bit more athletic to start. Um, hand position's hand position. I don't love the knob face in this way, but I'm okay with it also if it helps with overall rhythm and it helps us get, with the move back away from the baseball part of our load. So let's see where it takes us. May want to make an adjustment there though. So we've got, okay, the load. You can kind of see how he rocks back and it looks like he's got pressure on the outside of that back foot. Whenever we talk about instep pressure, we want pressure on the inside of this foot when we're loading, and that will help us not get stacked up over this backside. That was not a good line at all, but will help us not get stacked up over this backside with our knee and more importantly, our hip. Looks like he's getting a little stacked up over there. So we'll do some things to help with, um, as we load to feel that pressure on the instep. And then when we land, we want to feel the pressure on the instep of our stride foot as well. And you can kind of take, again, Carlos is about at that point right here. He's started to advance the ball a little bit now, but you can see even such, he's well inside of that back foot. And a lot of that has to do with the stance width and also the fact that he's maintaining that instep pressure. And if we take it through to where his stride foot lands, just since we're talking about that, and we'll get ready to talk about the launch position anyway, you can see that he's got instep pressure. That's the first part that lands. And now his heel comes down at that point in time. Okay? So now let's go ahead and take Cannon through to there. Heel is down at this point. We could even back it up just a hair and we'll say it's down at that point. But look where the knob of our bat is versus where Carlos Correa's is. Obviously the barrel position, all of that. And Carlos is nice and grounded here. We've also got a stride directly back to the pitcher. And then if you look at Cannon's, it started with the kind of the open stance, but everything's just open now as opposed to staying closed. I mean, we want to see that. Usually you'll still see your belt buckle facing straight ahead, maybe slightly back towards the catcher. In this case, it's kind of almost over to where first base would be. And then, of course, we talk about shoulders, back shoulder slightly higher than the front. This is obviously a good bit different, and then it's flying open already. We would like to see our chest still facing the catcher, which his is at our launch position. And again, launch position is whenever that front heel lands. Where is our body? Are we still connected to the ground? Are we in a good position to attack the baseball? As we go through, and I think this is in large part, there's some pronounced movement with that back elbow that he's kind of forcing it down unnaturally. And Carlos Correa does, he is one of those guys that really gets that back elbow tucked in, which we want to do. But you'll notice as he's coming through his swing, if you just look at his hand position, his elbow is still behind that. Occasionally you'll see it even with a couple of guys, but not really. It's usually going to trail those hands, and if it doesn't, then we consider that kind of an elbow drag or a bat drag. You're kind of taking that elbow, and you can see his elbow now is in front of his hand position. So something that we want to try to avoid here. And you can kind of see the elbows just dragging the bat through the zone. So a little bit of an armbar situation, elbow drag, couple things going on here that we want to try to take care of. And you can kind of see just, the top hand palm up. That's kind of just flipping right now, kind of just like flipping the bat through the zone. Whereas, Correa has top hand palm up, and then it's just full extension through the ball. And a lot of our guys are not really extending through the ball. And, you can see how straight and down the line, inside batter's box line, that he keeps that bat through contact. And then obviously there's a little bit of a difference here. Just kind of top arm turns down, bat gets out of the zone. Definitely some few things here that we want to clean up. But I think it all starts with the launch position. I think we do want to make a change of the stance, which I think will help with getting more athleticism into the swing. Obviously, a really good athlete, so we want to make sure we keep that athleticism, when we're at the plate. So we might want to adjust that a little bit, get us in a better position when that front heel lands, and we can attack the baseball. And then, we'll work on some moves with some drills in practice to help reinforce those things. But make a couple adjustments here, and we'll be all set. Good work, Cannon.